Kayla.
Hey, Rachel.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why do they have a fence around a graveyard?
To keep the ghosts in?
Because everyone is dying to get in.
Oh my God.
Hey, Kayla. What did the wizard say to the twin witches?
I have no idea.
Which witch is which?
Oh my God.
Hey, Kayla.
Yes, Rachel.
How can you tell if a vampire has a cold?
I feel like I should know this one, but my brain isn't putting it together.
He starts coughing.
Oh my God.
You're
that
welcome.
Is so bad.
You're welcome, everyone, for the giggles. I know that you're probably belly laughing right now, but, you know.
It was like mom joke level 9,000.
I thought those were really good.
That's your idea of good joke.
We wanted to start out, you know.
It was unique.
The podcast in a different way.
It wasn't 3,000 languages this time, so that...
Exactly. I'm trying new things, trying to give you guys a little bit of variety, and, you know, I think you probably appreciate it.
Yeah, I think Rachel and I have both been struggling with some mom brain this past week, so trying to keep things fresh, you know, trying to sharpen up.
I love that laugh that I just had. I was like... Anyway, how was your week?
It was a week.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm just like super overwhelmed with life right now, and I had like a mental breakdown in the bathtub last night.
We were taking baths at the same time, and we were
having mental breakdowns at the same time too. But yeah, I asked my husband to come up, and I was like, "Can you hand me the soap?" And he was like, "Where is it?" I'm like, "It's just in the shower." So he has to come all the way upstairs, and then he just looks at me, and I was like, "I just really need to talk," and just kind of like broke down. So once I got my cry out, we went to bed, and I got like a solid 10 and a half hours of sleep, and I have this sleep quality app. And I got my first 100% sleep quality that I've ever gotten on there. And I feel it. I feel hyper. I feel alive. I think I just needed sleep.
That's good. Yeah. You need one of those nights every once in a while just to recharge.
Yes. And I'm so bad about like going to sleep because I value that time at night.
Same.
Because I'm by myself.
Yes. It is like our only alone time that we get.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And my toddler's not like about everything. So
that was a really good impression.
Thank you.
I thought I was talking to a toddler.
I'm so good at these things. Like my
You guys have heard that now.
Yes, that was so hard to not release for 3 weeks because we literally went back and listened to it again and again and again. I want to make it my ringtone.
I want to make it my ringtone. I know.
If anybody out there knows how to do that, let me know because if we could do like a remix of it too.
Yes.
Like that Antoine Dodson, the guy that like stopped the rapist from getting his sister. Hide your kids, hide your husbands.
Yeah. Oh, back in the day, I had like this old Nokia phone and I wanted to have different
Didn't everyone?
Yes. But I wanted to have different ringers too. And what you would have to do was like hold the phone up to
and like record
different songs and record like the part that you wanted to be the ringer.
Yeah.
And like that's how you did it. So
oh my gosh.
I'm sure we could figure it out.
I did not get to have a phone in the Nokia era. Like my age
it's because
group,
Kayla is a tiny little fetal baby.
My age group was the Razor. Do you remember that flip phone?
I do. I had it when I was married.
Everybody. I was in high school.
Cool.
But everybody had it and I wanted it, but then it was too expensive.
Do you remember the chocolate?
The chocolate.
Yeah. I think it had like a dial and they had 3 different colors. I think there was like a strawberry looking one and then like a white, maybe
the
a white
only thing
chocolate.
with a dial I ever saw was an iPod, like the nano generation.
No. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was a chocolate.
This is getting so nostalgic and I love it.
It really is. Oh, okay.
I didn't realize we had such different like teenage years. I thought we were a little closer than that. How many years apart are we?
I'm 34.
I'm 29, so it's only 5 years difference.
Yeah, a lot happened in those 5 years.
Apparently,
especially
technology
in, like,
took a jump.
Yeah, the technical world. Yeah.
I remember I used to play Prince of Persia on my mom's Nokia phone, and that was like the bomb for me.
I used to play Snake.
Oh my god. That was
you know what my favorite thing to do was? I like to play with my little Etch-a-Sketch and make little drawings and then shake it up and start over. That was my favorite toy.
I was 5
up.
when I had one that was but we're probably really reaching out to our demographic right now, which is like our age group from like 29 to 34 exactly.
Yeah,
so
we did
you
find
guys
that
know
out.
what we're talking about, both of us.
Yeah, she found out that Kayla is the computer savvy one. the technical person. So she found out that is our age demographic, which we appreciate any age listening to us.
Yes.
But
it's fun that we can like relate to each other, you know? Anyway, how was your week, Rachel?
I'm on a journey to better myself.
Okay.
That is my week. So for 6 days now, I've been exercising. I've been doing planks, push-ups, chair, like wall sits. I'm like all of the things.
You know what I do? I grunt to roll over in bed. Okay.
Well,
I have to roll over in 3 phases.
You're pregnant, so it's a little different there. But it's my goal to get ripped like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm going to be in like the body competitions. You're going to have to like rub like the tanning lotion on my back where I can't reach to make my muscles shine. Like,
what did you have for dinner, Rachel?
Kayla? I had protein.
Wings
and tater tots.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Something about you need to carb load when you're exercising or
definitely.
Something. Anyway, so I just want to get healthier. I want to feel stronger. I want to walk up a flight of stairs without, completely having
an asthma attack.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get my brain sharper. Mm-hmm. So I have been doing like brain teasers. There's a game on my phone that I like to play called Word Cookies.
Oh, and that's what you sent me that picture of.
Yeah. So, and I've gotten better at it. I've noticed that as time has gone on, and I've been reading too, like reading more than I normally do, and my brain is getting sharper. So that's what us old people need to do. We need to keep our brain sharp.
It also comes with postpartum, because I remember like a year and a half after I had my first son, I went through that phase too. I was just like forgetting everything. And so I downloaded like logic puzzles where it gives you like certain amount of facts and then you have to figure out everything by like deduction.
Yeah.
Love those things. They're like crack for me. And I did really, really good. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting smart again, Yes. Okay, so today we have the second volume of the Haunted Objects series. The first volume was Dolls. Mm-hmm. And you guys loved it. Dolls. And yeah, you make fun of me with your Wisconsin accent over there.
Shut your mouth.
This one, we're actually going to do 2 different categories. So I'm doing one segment and Rachel's doing another segment. And that's how this works. But I think
good luck, and then you may have some trouble sleeping.
Drink your chamomile tea.
Henceforth, our name.
Take a Valium. Anyway, Rachel, would you like to start?
I would. Do we want to tell people where to find us real quickly?
We are on Facebook, the Good Luck Sleeping Podcast. That's one of our main communities. We have a lot of, like, whenever we have evidence, and there will be evidence in this episode, so I suggest you follow us there.
Yes.
We post that in photo albums and videos and stuff, so follow us there. We are also on Instagram, Good Luck Sleeping Podcast. We are on Twitter at GL Sleeping. And we are also, you can listen to us on our website, goodlucksleeping.libsyn.com. We're also on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Apple. And then if you have a scary story of your own, you can send it to goodlucksleepingpodcast@gmail.com, and it'll be in our next Listener Stories episode.
Wow, look at her.
That was like one breath.
She just breezes through that with no problems at all.
I have like no lung capacity. I'm really impressed with myself.
I'm really impressed with you too.
All right, start us off, Rachel.
Okay, so my first little segment here is on the Tallman bunk beds. They're haunted bunk beds.
Okay, are they called Tallman because of who owned them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, because Tallman sounds like
Slenderman.
Yeah, like a horror figure. I'm like, okay, was there a tall man like attached to these?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is from an Unsolved Mysteries episode.
Okay, we got something for your listening pleasure.
And all that 80s awesomeness. The synthesizer.
That is definitely the 80s. I was hoping he would come
on this episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
That's what I was really wanting. Okay, now that set the tone for us.
I'm sorry, I cannot duplicate his voice. It is unduplicatable. So. Okay, so the story begins early February in 1987 in Wisconsin. It is the Tallman family. There's Alan, the husband, Debbie, the wife, and I believe they had 3 kids. It never really they never really said, which is strange. They just kind of like had different segments with different kids. So
Okay.
from what I put together, there were 3 children, 2 girls and an older boy.
Okay.
Anyway, Alan and Debbie brought home a bunk bed that they purchased at a secondhand furniture shop.
Got to be careful with those thrift stores.
Indeed. It was assembled and stored in their basement. Nothing happened, eerily, until they brought up the bunk bed to sleep in. So when they brought it upstairs and used it, it began the 9 months of terror. And the terror was so intense that Alan began to feel helpless, and he worried that he would come home from work and find his family hurt or even dead.
Okay, so he played around with that for 9 months instead of chopping it up to firewood and just using it. Makes sense.
I don't know if they connected it right away. I just think all of a sudden they're like, why are all these things happening? So I think it took a minute for them to understand that it was the bunk bed, maybe.
You're going to tell us what happened, right?
No, that's it. That's all my information.
I swear to God. I'm just kidding.
All right. Prior to the bunk beds, the Tallman house had no prior history of hauntings. They moved in 1986 and felt that the home that they bought, was their dream house. They were completely normal, middle-class, church-going family. Debbie was a stay-at-home mom, and Alan was a shift supervisor. He tended to work late, I think, because a lot of times he was coming home late, and that's when the activity kind of picked up.
That's how shift supervisors usually are.
Yeah. So after the hauntings began, the Tallman children began to get sick very frequently. And I thought they moved into a new house, and so I'm thinking, maybe there's something in the atmosphere
like
that was making them sick.
Yeah.
But anyway, they didn't really delve into the sicknesses. Debbie, the wife, just came on and said, my kids got fevers frequently. It wasn't a good thing. So the night that the bunk bed was moved upstairs, one of their children, Danny, was sleeping in the room next to the bunk bed. The bedrooms had been rearranged, and Danny had inherited his parents' old clock radio. The radio seemed to take on a life of his own as he was laying in bed, and the dial started to run through the channels. He watched it move. His parents didn't believe him and told him that was impossible and that they would take the radio away if he kept making up stories.
I mean,
poor little Danny.
I
hate that in these stories when the parents
I
never
know.
believe the kids. It drives me
I
insane.
like to think that when my toddler told me his window was talking to him, I took it seriously.
Yes. Yes. And when my son said that there's faces in the wall, I also took it seriously.
You shit your pants. Yes.
So a few weeks later, Alan Tallman also had an experience that he couldn't explain. He was painting the walls of the basement, and he went upstairs to take a break for dinner. He set the paintbrush down next to the paint can on the table.
Who paints their basement walls?
Good question. I can't even paint my kitchen, which I really want to paint. After dinner, I guess he'd gone upstairs for dinner. He returned downstairs and saw that the brush was in the paint bucket upside down, so the handle was sitting in the paint.
Ew.
Yeah. He reasoned with himself and chose to believe that there was a logical explanation, even though that nobody else had gone into the basement. Okay. James.
It's like the demon was like, damn it, they don't have a crucifix. I'm just going to have to do it with a paintbrush.
I mean, I guess this will work. So the little girl, 2-year-old, began to see things in the home, and at one point she spoke of a witch that appeared behind the door. She also spoke of a fire. About a month later, their son also saw an old lady by his door that, quote-unquote, glowed like fire.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say that I don't think that this is demonic.
You think it was like a ghost of a witch or something?
Or like a family that had a fire in their house.
Okay.
And that's where like the bunk beds came from.
Gotcha.
But anyway, the pastor...
They survived the fire.
Right. The family pastor came to investigate what was happening in the house, and he felt that an evil presence was there and thought the family was being harassed by the devil himself. So yeah, this is where I feel like they just completely went overboard.
Yeah.
And I looked up later, and like the pastor really had an interview and said that he really did think that Satan himself was harassing the family.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe this though, because not everybody believes in ghosts, and I really think that something was just tied.
Okay.
Doors continued to open and shut, voices called to them, and the children kept speaking of seeing entities. The week before Christmas, Danny again saw something that terrified him. Danny's, again, the boy. Alan became infuriated, not with Danny, but with the situation, and he started to shout at the house and challenge the entities.
Oh, always a good decision.
As one does. He said, whatever is in the house, please leave the children alone. If you want to fight, fight with me. Which I understand is
I've been there. I've literally said that to the dark corner of my child's room.
Right. It's a paternal instinct,
Yeah,
a maternal, you just want to protect your kids and have yourself take it on rather than them. But that never ends well.
No.
3 weeks later, Alan came home around 2 a.m. after working the late shift. Hold on, I can breathe.
Oh my God. It's not just me.
No. You know how like when you have to yawn, but you can't quite yawn?
Now I have to yawn. Thanks for that.
Okay. Alan came home around 2 a.m. after working the late shift. Outside the house, he heard a strange howling noise near the garage. It started quiet and increased in volume. Alan went to investigate it and crept around the house trying to find an intruder because, logically he thinks it's a person. A voice...
Yeah, because people howl.
You're really good at that.
Thanks. I'm just the sound effects person.
Yeah, we don't need one of those like little
the voice
boxes.
Actress.
Yes. Alan found no one, and he tried to retreat back to the house. But repeatedly, an invisible entity entices him to, quote unquote, come here.
Wait. It's invisible, but he knows it's enticing him to come here.
He hears the voice.
Oh, okay. So it's literally saying, come here.
It's literally saying, come here.
Okay. I was just like thinking it's doing like the finger thing.
Yes, you can't see what I'm doing, but I am doing the
Well,
come hither.
he couldn't see it either. That was my point.
When he turns around, he sees a glow. It appears as though the garage is on fire. And this is such funny because in the show...
Did they set a garage on fire?
The horrible like 80s graphics
yeah.
of yes, fire. But then it says that Alan runs inside when he sees that his house is on fire, not to like get his family, but to like collect himself. After he takes a minute to collect himself, he goes outside yet again to check on the garage. All is calm and there is no fire. He goes back inside and locks the door. Something inside grabbed his lunchbox out of his hand and threw it from the kitchen across the room into the living room. Debbie finds Alan running around the home in an anxious fit. So like he's just like
wordage.
This is me like
you
deciphering.
Ungrateful asshole! I fix you lunch and you don't eat it all.
This is me deciphering the episode.
I know, this is great. I love it.
Around this time, Alan has begun to sleep on the floor of his daughter's room because she's too scared to sleep alone. One night, Alan looks above him and sees a fog begin to form. The fog speaks to him, saying, "You're dead." Alan came out of the bedroom in an extremely fearful state. Debbie was so worried that she called their pastor to come over immediately because Alan was so afraid that he was unable to talk and explain what was going on. They didn't say what happened after that. They just moved on to a different portion.
Oh, okay.
I assume I
guess he realized he wasn't dead.
Yes. A few days later, Alan was working late, and so he asked a relative of his to watch over his children until he got home. They never said like what kind of relative, so I have to keep referring to them as
the relative.
Alan's relative was a complete skeptic until he witnessed the same apparition that Alan had seen. They took the kids out of the house and fled. 2 weeks later, they had the bunk bed destroyed.
Finally!
I know. But they also left the house. So the family moved to another city and have had no further activity.
Why didn't they just destroy the bed and then see what happened?
I probably would have
Seems
done that.
cheaper.
Yeah. The family that bought the Tallman house has also had no further activity, suggesting it was the beds that the entity had attached to. So they said that from what I gather, they destroyed, like they disassembled the bunk beds and buried them in a landfill somewhere, but they thought that nobody would build a home in the future. So
just
someplace
set them
far
on
out.
fire. It was practically begging for it from the beginning.
Would have made a heck of a bonfire.
Do you need to yawn?
Yeah. Something is going on. I think it's the angle I'm at.
Is there coffee in there? I think you need some coffee. You're not having like heart problems, are you, from these exercises?
I think it's the angle I was at, so I couldn't get a good breath, and I kept going, and so it was like really.
You're making me yawn.
I'm gonna have to yawn
It's like
again.
contagious. The giggliest and yawniest of the Ghost Girls.
I'm gonna move on to second story. Well, any thoughts there?
What a great segue.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I just think that they should have burned the damn bed and then... Am I cussing too much? I don't know why.
Very aggressive.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
I told you I feel great. I got a ton of sleep. No, I think they should have burned it because it was attached to some kind of ghostly fire anyway.
Right.
And then they should have just paused and taken a breath before
Take a
they had
breather.
to sell their whole house.
Right. I did try and reach out to one of the children.
Wait, that was who?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she sent me a screenshot and it was like she had messaged some dude and I was like, okay, I don't know what this is about, but sure.
I should have been a private investigator. So I was going on because I watched the episode of Unsolved Mysteries, but I also wanted to see if I could find more information and, you know, maybe have an update, see how they're doing now, and if any of them had any further paranormal experience.
And he was not interested.
Well, I saw somewhere it was somebody's blog that they'd written about the whole experience, about I think the episode, and in the comment section it said, I am Chris, one of the sons. And so I typed in his name in Facebook and I saw the exact same picture and I messaged him. I know, I should have been a PI. And I messaged him, you know, just asking if I could possibly ask him further questions and who we were and what we do. And I haven't heard back. I probably should do my research more than the day of and give people time to respond to me.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, we record in 3 hours and you just texted the guy.
I was like, hey, I don't care what your day is looking like right now, but I need you to contact me. I'm just kidding. I'm just seriously just kidding. So I know that.
But you know, it's not the first time we've come into contact with people that we've talked about their stories.
That's right.
This will be the third time.
Yep.
So get in touch with us, Chris.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll have an update.
Was that too aggressive again?
I'm sorry, Chris. We
it's
really
like I'm on roids or something. I don't know what's going on.
We would really love to speak with you, honestly. Okay, so my next little story is about the Busby chair. And this is from an article entitled Busby's Stoop Chair of Death. And this is on a website called The Paranormal Guide. And this is the second time I found information from him. He really dives deep into his, you know, investigation. So I really appreciate that. I've, you know, reworded it a little bit here, but I am going to be saying kind of what he's found from this because he had the most information of anybody else that I'd found. So here's the chair. Looks like just kind of your average wooden rocker. So in the late 17th century, a counterfeiter of currency named Daniel Auty moved to the small town of Kirby Wisk, which is located along the River Wisk and in the little northwest of Thirsk. And I'm really worldly.
What country is this?
In England. So this guy lived in Yorkshire, England.
So our British listeners, please help us out. I need you to say that again with a British accent.
In the late 17th century, a counterfeiter of currency named Daniel Auty, sometimes Auty, moved to the small town of Kirby Wisk, which is located along the River Wisk in a little northwest of Thirsk in North Yorkshire, England.
That was actually way better than the first time.
One time last week, while I was supposed to be researching, I spent, I kid you not, 30 minutes trying to have an Australian accent. I looked up the different pronunciations of different endings of words and everything, and I was practicing being Australian. So
I can do British great, and there's a couple of phrases that I can get in Australian, but it's so hard. I'm sorry. Australians are actually our number 2 demographic.
Fantastic. That's why I wanted to like see if I could pull it out. Like I could be one of them.
We wanted to relate to you guys.
Yes. That accent is one of the most beautiful accents.
It is.
Along with Irish. Oh.
Yeah, they're great.
Anyway, okay.
They have great sense of humor, too.
It was a much quieter location for Auty to conduct his illicit trade of faking currency. He purchased an old farm, which he could then converted to something more suitable to his needs. He built a large, hidden underground room and installed a very robust locking mechanism so unexpected visitors could not catch him at his work. He renamed the farm Danity Hall. Danity. Auty had a daughter named Elizabeth and a local man by the name of...
Auty had a daughter
named Elizabeth and a local man by the name of Thomas Busby fell in love with her. The two were married in a marriage of which Daniel was not too happy about. So the father was not cool with the marriage.
Okay.
Soon he and Busby became partners in the counterfeiting game, which proved to be a trying relationship as Busby was a bit of a drunk. Busby and Elizabeth took up lodgings in the local inn a little ways down the road from Danity Hall. For unknown reasons, Daniel Auty, Elizabeth's father, came to the inn to drag her home away from Busby for good. Probably he just felt like he wasn't good enough for his daughter.
He was a drunkard.
Right. She refused to budge till Busby came back from wherever he had gone. I guess he wasn't home at the time when he went to take her away. They sat at the inn and waited until a very drunk Busby arrived home. The two men broke into argument, screaming and yelling at each other. Audie did not want his daughter to be married or otherwise associated with a drunkard. Okay, well, that explains it. Amidst the arguing, Busby became enraged at the fact that Audie was sitting in his favorite chair.
His stoop chair.
His stoop chair. Sometime during the argument, Audie left back for Danity Hall without his daughter, but Busby was fuming. Later that night, he made the 3-mile trek to the hall where he bludgeoned Audie to death with one of their counterfeiting hammers.
Damn,
I know.
That's intense.
A little too much there. Audie's body was eventually found, and Busby was charged, trialed, and found guilty of the murder. In 1702, he was hung, and see if you can explain this to me.
Okay.
After he was dead, he was cut down, dipped in pitch, and hanged from a gibbet.
Well, I don't know what a gibbet is, but I know that like sometimes they would. Usually that was when they were alive, though. They tar and feather them.
I understand that, but I've never heard of dipped in pitch and hanged.
Maybe
from
it was
a
like
gibbet.
a shame thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an England thing.
If anyone could explain to us what being dipped in pitch and hung from a gibbet means, let us know. However, as he was led to his execution, Busby cursed all people to death who would take a seat in his favorite chair. After the execution, the inn was renamed the Busby Stoop Inn. The owner of the inn, a known money spinner, told all who visited about the chair still standing in the place that Busby liked to sit.
What is a money spinner?
I think people that kind of try and pull money out of people, that, you know, like run a game to get money out of people.
Oh, okay.
Type of a thing. It's probably not it at all, and we sound like idiots.
We never know things.
We don't. It proved to be quite the attraction. But was the chair really cursed?
Cursed.
Cursed. I was trying to sound creepy. And I think I did it. The chair is said to have taken the lives of a great many people. Some counts place the number at 63. I know. When I read that, I was like, dang.
How does it take the life? Please tell me you're going to dive into that.
It is said that if you sit in the chair, you're tempting fate and could soon face death. In more recent times, post-World War II, a young builder's apprentice died soon after having lunch at the inn. His workmates dared him to sit in the chair, which he did, and later in the day, he fell through a roof and died.
Okay, the scariest part is you're the type of person that would go buy that chair and then put it here and be
sit in it. It'd be like, hey, Kayla.
No, you'd wait until I sat down,
and
then you would be like, by the way, that's the stoop chair.
I would definitely bring it in the room and say, hey, I dare you to sit in that chair. And give you
tell me about all these mythical creatures that, like, once you hear about them, they're going to hunt you down. But you don't tell me until after you told me about them.
That is true.
And you're, like, threatening to buy a Ouija board. And before that, it was haunted dolls. And then you got scared to death after that episode. I never know what I'm getting with Rachel.
I think I am going to buy a Ouija board.
I found some Ouija board pajamas. I was like, Rachel, just get these instead, please.
They're very sexual, though, if you think about it, because the Ouija writing is all over the chest.
Did you see the shorts that came with them?
No.
They had like the little alphabet all over it.
See?
I think it's cute.
It's lingerie.
What's the planchette?
His dick. Dick pirate is the planchette. Not for me if you wear them. Anyway.
And on that note,
a delivery man sat in the chair while it was stored away in the cellar. Yeah, I guess the landlord had gotten sick of the dust that the chair was causing.
I mean, it's 63. That's a big number.
Not quite 63 yet. And so he put it in the cellar. But a delivery man had heard about it and asked if he could sit in the chair. So the landlord brought him down, let him do it. And later that evening, he got into a car crash when he lost control of his car and died. Many airmen from the nearby airfield lost their lives after having sat in the chair. It is said that all who did would not return home from war. All right, strangest of all was a chimney sweep who sat in the chair one evening after a few drinks. He left at some hour of the night/morning, but did not get far. He was found hanging from a gatepost next to the mock Busby gibbet located next to the inn.
Oh, so the one that Busby was hung from, he was hung next to it.
Oh, but it was a mock one. It wasn't even like the real one. Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, it was like the legend.
Apparently, these are only the more modern stories. Even well into the 70s, the locals were fearful of the curse. Soon the inn would be free of the chair's terrors, but it would take 2 more deaths. 2 young airmen went to the inn one night, daring each other to sit
with
in
these
the
airmen.
Eventually, one of them caved and placed his backside on the chair just for a second.
his tushy buns.
On their way back to the field, they both died in a traffic accident.
What is it with cars in this thing, too? That's
I
weird.
know. The chair was eventually brought to a local museum and displayed high on a wall where no one could sit in it ever again. To this day, the chair is still mounted high up on the wall of the
still around?
Yes, of the Thirsk Museum, and no one has been allowed to sit in it, no matter how much they offer.
That's
Here's
crazy.
the chair on the wall.
Oh man.
So
That was like
that
the
wraps
worst
up.
reaction ever.
Oh man, jeez Louise! It's a chair on a wall. I'm not expecting.
It's like, ooh.
But I did print it off so that you could see.
Thank you.
Yes, that wraps up my segment on my haunted furniture.
Well, that was fascinating.
Thank you.
I just don't know why all those things weren't like chopped up and burnt.
Yeah, I know.
It's just weird.
Well, at least I disposed of the bunk beds, but get rid of that chair. We don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Although maybe people were afraid to burn it because if you just sit in it, you're cursed. So who knows what happens if you burn his favorite chair.
That's true. You end up on a gibbet.
Dipped in pitch. I'm looking that up.
Is a gibbet like a gallows?
I assume that it is, yeah. I don't know. It's really hard to find out. Somebody tell me. I don't feel like looking it up.
All right. I know we have some British friends on Twitter, so help us out if you listen to this episode, please.
I'm sure it comes up your everyday, conversations. So.
Pitch on a gibbet. Okay, so my segment is on haunted paintings, and that should be great. So I picked 4, and I'm going to start with I'm going to do the dolls thing. Start with the least and escalate to the most because it's insane. So the first painting was by Svetlana Taras, and it was called The Woman of the Rain. It was bought several times, but always begged to be returned back.
Oh.
The painting now hangs in the Venezia Salon Merks furniture on the streets of Kiev.
So if you guys are ever there, I don't...
In Venezia.
Don't step in.
Customers notice that the woman on the painting smiles to some and shows anger to others. So she's like Robert the doll.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why there's an exclamation point, but they say it looks as if this woman on the painting is alive. A mystical energy comes out of her. Some people said that the picture slid out of the wall and stood on the table. That's according to Svetlana, the artist, actually.
Oh.
Svetlana also described how this unusual pattern was born. She said, in 1996, I graduated from the Odessa Art University, and for 6 months before the birth of Woman of the Rain, I always felt like someone was watching me. I always drove such thoughts away. And then one day, by the way, it wasn't a rainy day at all, I was sitting in front of a blank canvas and thought of what I could draw. Suddenly, I saw clearly the contours of a woman, her face, colors, shades. I saw every detail of the image. I started to draw it as if someone drove my hand over the paper. In 5 hours, I managed to finish it. Arriving to Venezia, Svetlana exhibited her painting in the local art gallery. Every now and then, art lovers approached and shared the same thoughts that appeared in her mind while working. Several years ago, the first shopper, a lonely businesswoman, I don't know why they need to include that about her. She was lonely.
I'm so sorry. She was lonely.
She was walking through the halls, and eventually she bought Woman of the Rain. She hung it on the wall in her bedroom. After 2 weeks, Svetlana got a call late at night from the lady. Please take it back. I can't sleep. It feels like there's someone else in my apartment beside me. I even took it off the wall and hid it behind the cupboard, but I still have this feeling. Then another customer appeared.
I'm sorry. I don't care how afraid I was. I would not call somebody in the middle of the night about that.
Like, go put it outside.
Put it in your car.
Yeah. Okay, so then another customer appeared. A young man bought the painting. He also couldn't stand it. He brought it back to the artist without even taking his money back.
Oh. Oh, wow. She could really make a profit out of this.
He said, I keep dreaming of it. Every night there is a shadow of a woman that walks around me. I'm starting to go mad. I'm afraid of this painting.
Did you take acting classes?
No, but I wanted to be an actress so bad. Am I convincing?
Yes. I feel like you are that man.
Thank you. The third customer had heard about the painting, but he didn't care. He said that the face of that woman looked very nice, and it certainly wouldn't do anything bad. Typically underestimating us women. But that didn't happen. He said, at first, I didn't notice her white eyes, But when I did see them, they started to appear everywhere. Unreasonable headaches started to hurt me. I couldn't stand it, and I don't need it. So, I'm going to show you this painting.
I'm excited to see it.
It's weird, but I wouldn't say that it's like gives you the chills. Well, you gasped.
I don't like it.
You don't like
really
it?
don't like it. No.
Does it make you feel anxious? Are you getting a headache?
No, right.
Are you dying?
Like, whoa.
Do you feel like someone is staring over your shoulder, Rachel? Because there is
for you to sit on, Kayla. No, it's very like Tim Burton-y to me.
Kind of. We'll put it in the Facebook group as always.
I guess I pictured it more of like a realist painting, and it's more.
It's kind
abstract.
of like Monet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. Do you know who Monet is?
I do. I took an art class. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's Monet.
It's kind of, well, it's like got the wispy look to it. Is what I meant.
Muted colors, maybe.
Yeah, muted colors.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. So then the second painting is The Crying Boy by Giovanni Bragolin. All right. So this is from exemplar.com. This article is written by Anne Carney, and she is basically telling an account of this young man who had an experience with the Crying Boy painting. Now, the interesting thing about these paintings is there were copies, like 50,000 copies made of these paintings. Okay. There were 63 original paintings by this guy.
Uh-huh.
And then there were copies made of all these paintings and sold.
Like prints?
Yes.
Okay.
Even the prints have things happen with them.
Oh.
It's crazy.
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Don't you dare. But it's not even one specific Crying Boy painting. Now, I'm going to show you real quick since we're talking about it. This is the original one that he painted that kind of started the series.
That makes me sad.
But he did like a bunch of paintings, like little girls crying,
Why does he want children crying?
I don't know. It was like a series that he did.
Okay.
And it became really popular for some reason. And people bought them all up. And then they started making prints of them.
Oh.
And then
I wouldn't want that hanging in my
started
house.
going down.
That would make me so sad every time I saw it.
You wouldn't want it in your house because your house would burn down.
Okay, fair enough.
So when I was a young child in the 70s, I became fascinated by a painting in my grandmother's house. The painting was a cheap print of a well-known piece. And it was hung on the living room wall of her small house. The reason he was so fascinated was that the picture depicted a child. The boy was of a similar age to him and for some reason looked sad and downcast, tears brimming from his troubled eyes, hence the crying boy. He was so attached to the painting.
And you might have trouble sleeping.
He was so attached to the painting that he even gave the sad child a name, which he does not feel led to share with us, apparently.
Okay.
But he was attached to it.
Uh-huh.
So a few years after the painting went up on the wall, there was a devastating kitchen fire in the house. Oh. While the kitchen was destroyed, the rest of the house was undamaged. Despite this, the painting of the boy was removed and thrown into a skip along with the contents of the kitchen. Is this England again?
Oh, you guys.
For years, it puzzled me why my grandmother did this until I read a series of articles about a cursed painting. Okay, so in 1985, the most popular...
I was born then. I just felt like I had to because you said it out loud. I don't know. I was born in 1985, guys.
Okay. So the most...
The year's different than the month and the day. Just the year is fine. Okay.
The most popular
because if I said like the full month and day and year, and then you guys know that might be a little much. But if I just give you the year 19, a lot of people were born in 85. I was. Okay, Kayla, go ahead.
Are you done?
If you could get on with your story, we're all waiting to hear it. Pins and needles. Okay.
So The Sun published an article entitled Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy. The story described the terrible experience of May and Ron Hall after their Rotherham home was destroyed by fire. The cause of the fire, much like my grandmother's, was a chip pan that overheated and burst into flames. I don't know what a chip pan is. Maybe it's like where you don't make chips over there's that's like potatoes. Right?
It's like fries, I think.
Okay. So anyway, the fire spread rapidly and destroyed everything on the ground floor. Only one item remained intact, a print of the crying boy on their living room wall. So obviously they blamed the painting. The weirdest part, what?
A lot of paintings are made with anti-inflammatory qualities. Okay. That's because I came across that. Okay. Two.
Okay, so the tale would have disappeared except for a firefighter claimed that he had attended at least 15 house fires where everything was destroyed. The only thing left complete in each home was the crying boy painting.
It could have been because, though, that they were printed with anti-inflammatory ingredients. Sealed.
I'm going to list some of these people. A woman in Surrey lost her house to a fire 6 months after buying the painting. 2 sisters in Kilbourne had fires in their homes after buying a copy of the painting. One sister even claimed to have seen her painting sway backwards and forwards on the wall.
Okay.
A concerned woman on the Isle of Wight. Doesn't that sound lovely?
It does sound lovely.
Oh, man. Attempted to burn her painting without success and then went on to suffer a run of bad luck. A gentleman in Nottingham.
This is definitely England.
Yes. Who possessed a print of the paint. They just sound so pretty over there.
They do. They sound so distinguished.
We've got like Scataway and Crab, and they've got Nottingham. Okay, anyway, so his family was injured. A pizza parlor in Norfolk. You get the picture. Like a lot of people
bad luck.
were having bad luck fires connected to this painting, and it always survived. On Halloween, 1985.
All Hallows Eve.
So, like, the year you were born.
I was born in 85, if you didn't know that.
Hundreds of paintings were collected together by the newspaper and burnt under the supervision of the fire brigade.
Wow, that's intense. Like, it got to that point.
I know. So, why did these paintings seem to be cursed? Theories range from the little boy being a gypsy child whose family placed a curse on the artist. Some claim that the child had died in a fire and his spirit was trapped in the painting. The most enduring story claimed the crying boy accidentally set fire to the studio of the artist who painted him. The child's parents had also been killed in a blaze. So wherever the little orphan went, fires mysteriously followed, earning him the nickname Diablo, or Devil.
Oh.
He supposedly survived to early adulthood, but was tragically killed when his car crashed and burned into flames.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think any of this is actually fact. I think it was all speculation.
Oh, okay.
They really went deep on that.
I guess so.
Okay, so then...
It would have really made a twist, but I hope that he's still alive.
In 2010, this reputable person on the BBC tried to debunk this, and basically there's a video of it. I'll put it in the group, the Facebook group, but they lit the painting on fire, and it only burned where the fire touched it. It did not spread, and then the fire went out. And so he thought there was like a fire retardant on the painting.
Oh.
Isn't that amazing, Rachel?
Okay.
My issue with that, though, is there's like over 50,000 of these things in the UK alone. How are they only using a fire retardant on those paintings?
I mean,
and not all the other paintings in the world.
Yeah. Well,
It's weird.
yeah. I think it's like commonplace in some printing places that's like the material that they use. But that doesn't explain any of the bad luck.
I think it's haunted.
No, it doesn't explain any of the bad luck, and it doesn't explain the fact that their house is caught on fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Okay, moving on. The Hands That Resist Him. This one is
I've heard of
creepy
this one.
as... Okay, so it's by Bill Stoneham. It has an ordinary enough a beginning. It was painted in 1972 by Bill Stoneham.
I guess I thought it was older than that.
No. He was on contract to produce 2 paintings a month for $200 each. In 1974, it was put on display at the Feingarten Gallery in Beverly Hills, California. It was reviewed by an art critic, Henry Seldis, and purchased by the actor John Marley. He was probably best known for waking up next to that horse's head in The Godfather. I have not seen that, so I have no idea what he's talking about. But okay. But then the story gets weird. A few years after the painting was sold, the art critic Henry Seldis died. Then the gallery owner died.
Ooh.
Then in 1984, John Marley died.
Oh.
The painting disappeared, not surfacing again until 2000 in a bizarre posting on eBay.
Oh. Where was it all that time?
The new owners were trying to sell it because they said it was haunted. They claimed the boy... This is so creepy. They claimed the boy and the doll in the picture would fight with each other during the night, terrifying their 4-year-old daughter.
Jeez.
They set up a motion sensing camera in the room for 3 nights and claimed they captured the boy in the picture leaving the frame and coming into the room.
So cool.
I was just like... Googling, trying to find that video evidence. They never posted it. I was really irritated. The painting ultimately sold for $1,025 to a buyer in Michigan who was reportedly keeping it in storage and refusing much, much bigger offers to buy it.
Oh.
Because of the internet sensation, Stoneham came forward with what inspired him to paint such a haunting scene. Now, I'm going to show you this picture.
Okay.
Okay, so that's...
Oh.
Do you see the hands pressing against the window?
The boy is...
Look at the
he
doll.
looks like Frankenstein.
Do me a favor and swipe
Oh,
right.
that's a doll?
Swipe right.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. That's the crying boy.
Okay, the other way. Swipe left.
Oh.
Do you see the doll's face?
I do. That's disturbing.
Right?
Why does it have hollow black eyes?
I don't know. Okay, so
what is she holding? Like a spray can?
I don't know.
A bomb? I don't like it.
I didn't like it either.
But I'm zooming in on the boy's face because...
Yeah, I was trying to find a zoomed in... It's so creepy. I know.
He's creepy. Yeah, he's creepy. It's got a 5 head, too.
A what?
Instead of a 4 head.
Oh, a 5 head.
He's like, it looks very Frankensteinish.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
I'm sorry, boy. You did not... You look handsome.
So Stoneham explained his thoughts on the painting. Mm-hmm. The boy, he said, was himself. Okay. It was modeled on a photograph taken when he was 5.
It's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
The title comes from a poem written by his then wife. I guess they got divorced.
Oh.
It reads in part, "The hands resist him like the secret of his birth." Stoneham was adopted. The children's hands, he says, represent other lives. The glass door, the barrier between worlds, and the doll, his guide between those worlds. Why the hell
I don't want that to be my guide.
Do you pick that to be your guide between worlds? Little known fact, it's probably actually a really well known fact. He did like 2 more paintings in that series. And one of them is like the view from inside the doors looking out at the children. It's way less creepy, but I'm still like,
Right.
So
we're ending on
the spooky one.
All right.
Okay, so this is called The Anguished Man, and they don't know who painted it. Yeah. Okay, so there's this guy named Sean Robinson.
Okay.
And he has set up a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Because of his experiences with this painting. He said his grandmother had this painting in her attic for 25 years. She said it was evil. She told us she used to see the dark figure of a man around the house, and at night she heard strange noises and crying. She told me the artist committed suicide shortly after finishing it, and that he had used his own blood mixed in with the oils.
That's not weird.
After she died...
Talk about putting yourself into your art.
Right. After she died, he got the painting. It's currently in their basement. Shortly after they got the painting, various members of the family started seeing the dark figure of a man. At night, they began hearing noises, and just recently, they've heard crying and moaning. The painting is still in our house, and although I have never believed in the supernatural, I am now convinced there is something evil about this painting. So, he's recorded several accounts of paranormal activity around the painting, from shadow beings to distressed pets and even the sounds of crying. The longer he leaves it out, the more activity occurs and the more dangerous the activity becomes.
Why would you leave it out?
Well, that's the thing. He leaves it out for several nights and records consecutive nights to try and capture the paranormal activity, and then he has to put it away again because stuff starts happening to his family.
Okay.
So,
I mean, after a while, though, I'd be like, no, that's enough.
I know.
I don't want to see it escalate any farther.
But, like, he's getting on TV shows because of this. So, it got dangerous to the point that it actually caused his son's nose to bleed so badly he nearly had to call an ambulance.
Okay.
Because they couldn't get it to stop. His son fell down the stairs, and finally so did his dad.
Okay. If you want to do this living alone, go for it. But when you have a family to take care of and a child to protect, get rid of that painting.
This is the painting.
It's beautiful.
People have reported feeling ill after seeing it. So how are you feeling, Rach?
I really don't like it. I don't like it. But
you want to watch it in action?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put these videos in the group, obviously. The Facebook group. It's so creepy.
I can hear it.
Once again. Okay. So that's
it sounds like something's in the wall behind it. I set up the camera again to record for 3 nights. I recorded the usual banging noises, but on the second night I recorded this.
I hate it so much.
It fell over. And I did see a little orb.
Did you?
Yeah, go back. Oh, not that. Yeah. Okay, watch. Watch up here.
Oh, I hate it.
Watch. There.
Ooh, yes.
After a few months of relative peace and quiet with the painting safely stored away, I got the painting out to film for a TV show. I decided to set the camera up and film overnight. I recorded 6 consecutive hours between midnight and 6 a.m. I recorded the usual banging and scraping noises, but at approximately 3:30 a.m., I recorded this. Oh, smoke. Okay, all right. Oh, okay, that was the same thing as before.
Yeah, but like that shit's not. That's not smoke. It doesn't look like. It looks like ectoplasm.
I really want to believe this. You know me. But it looks like he just blew out some incense.
Watch this one. It comes down. It goes up, and then it comes down, and then goes back up.
There was absolutely no possible way there could have been any smoke or mist in that room. Okay. I did hear voices. Oh, it sounds like somebody's gasping. 3 a.m. again. This is at 3 a.m. Oh! Oh. Okay, the sound effects were not part of it, but it's like mist going across the frame.
Okay, but it's creepy, right?
It is creepy.
Wait, there's one. You have to see it.
She's making me watch more. Okay, so again, it's the painting sitting against a red wall. And then at 4 a.m., the door suddenly swings shut. There are no drafts in the room, and everyone was sleeping.
I swear it's going to happen.
Pins and needles again. All right. Oh, the door is shutting. Didn't quite close.
Is that not weird?
It is. Yeah, it is very strange.
Once again.
Just in case we missed it the first time. Here we go. There it goes. Wow. That is intense. I don't know.
I think Rachel's a skeptic.
Okay, so the only thing that I am a skeptic on, because I normally believe in everything, is when people are profiting off of like scary
but that's
objects.
everything. Because think, all those people that go on Zach Bagans' show.
True.
But didn't you say the Dybbuk box was like
it was fake. It was a hoax.
That's such
bullshit. Yeah. When he went on the show, they found out later it was a hoax.
He definitely could have faked all of that.
Yes.
I will give you that. But it's creepy as hell.
It is creepy to think if it wasn't faked. It is very creepy. But like when I see evidence like that, when it's like set up perfectly, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to be there. I want to like be there and see it for myself, and then it would be terrifying. I
wish that we would have gotten like a video proof of the kid crawling out of the other painting, though.
That would have been
life-changing.
Best. Probably the best paranormal evidence caught on camera if they could have done that, if they posted it.
Yeah.
So
be careful.
But that is very scary, and the fact that he used his own blood and mixed it with the paint is so disturbing.
I don't know how they know that if they don't know who painted it, but I'm just gonna like.
But we ended with a bombshell, guys. No, I mean it is a disturbing painting. I don't like it.
Be careful what paintings you buy from art galleries. You never know what you're getting.
Truthfully, though, I mean, the artist puts their energy into that painting. They put themselves into it, their emotions. So,
I mean, geez, that one dude painted himself as a 5-year-old with 5 foreheads. So, you know.
But honestly, if anything's going to be haunted, I think a true painting, like something that you buy from an artist, has the most chances of being haunted.
Which is why it's weird that all the copies of The Crying Boy did the same thing as the original.
That is very scary. That is. All right.
That's the most skeptical I've ever seen you on this show.
I'm sorry.
You sound like my husband. I hate it. You're supposed to be my wife, Rachel.
I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to say. I really want to believe it. I really do. I do want to believe it. But
at least I showed you a picture falling over and not a chair hanging on a wall.
I didn't get scared. I told you mine weren't scary. They weren't for me. I don't know.
So anyway, if you see the characters of your favorite painting crawling out of the painting, film it for us.
Yes.
And then go drink some chamomile tea and try to lay your head down on your comfy pillow and go to sleep. And good luck sleeping.
Good luck sleeping, guys.